Superman, the Book of L, issue 7, Philip Kennedy Johnson writing with Scott Godlewski on the art. All right. This was just okay.
The main problem with this book is there's so much going on, and I say this every time. I forget what led up to this. I had to read this twice because at first I didn't get. Number one, there's a misprint in here. And at least in my copy that I got.
Oh, okay.
They called Starchild, which that's how I'm referring to them as now, Starchild and Red Sun.
That's Otho. Starchild.
Right. The one that I have, it calls her O Sol Ra, the Starchild. And then I proceeded to get very confused because each after that is they're referring to her as Otho. So it's on the page where she's got the sun at her background. So that was fun. And I forgot why she's racing around with the black racer here. Well, so I'm just reading this without the context.
Well, they kind of set it up at the start of this, I guess, but this is my problem, and I think this is my problem with a lot of this particular book, the Book of L, is that so much of it is all this just new lore that keeps getting added on and made up about all the Ogryn stuff, right? Which was fun when it was like just the one part back in the Warworld saga. But then the other part of it, and this is the same problem that I'm kind of having with the current Batgirl arc or so, is this idea of all these extra characters who are being introduced, but we're not like getting to know them, and like because normally you introduce a character, then you spend time with them, they grow, they have a little arc, and that gives you like attachment to them because you saw them go through a change, and you'll remember them forever because you saw them grow up a little bit, or you saw them make a good choice or a bad choice. I feel like all these extended like descendants of the House of L are adding up so much that I'm like, I don't remember who any of these characters are. So that's making them not that fun to read for me. All this like very quickly like, hey, to save Superman who's currently dying, someone has to like light the belt, the belt of the Black Racer with the 3 stars, and only the fire of all the stars combined will wake up Superman. I'm like, okay, what? It's a bunch of just gobbledygook. It's made up stuff, and obviously some of it looks good, and the racing around and the Black Racer almost getting to her and like almost grabbing her and all that. There's some fun to be had there. But that's about it. I don't know. It was like the art is good. Like there's some fun spectacle in what's happening, but it feels very hollow to me because none of this feels like, oh, this is long-standing set-up stuff, right? And they kind of try and pretend that stuff's set up because at the start they say, oh, there was a prophecy that one day it would be the children of El that would save Superman and not the other way around. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, but like all of these mechanics, all of the things that are going to save him all just feel like a bunch of made-up exposition and mythical gobbledygook just to, and that's the whole issue. The whole issue is this like plan in motion and like the other House of El members trying to like basically back up Otho as she's running around and or flying around, I should say.
And these aren't just the House of El; these are the Philosians that got that Superman freed from Warworld.
Yeah, it's all right? The Philosians. Yeah.
These are their descendants, right? Because the House of El, that was like Ronan Kent, who we'd met.
That's what I meant. I didn't mean to say descendants. Gotcha. I meant the Philosians. Yes. I just meant the people.
Well, no, but this is.
Yeah.
But that's the problem, right? Is it goes into the point that you're making with all these new characters. We're not spending a lot of time with them, right? So Philip Kennedy Johnson is shotgunning these at us. And again, as someone that likes deep lore of this type of stuff, I'm enjoying it on the surface level. But again, them lighting up the belts and the way that we get to the end, that the Philosians that are in this area, they had created, they took in the concept of the Black Racer as a savior, is because the point with the Warworld and keeping them down was like, oh, only through death could they be free. So they took the concept of death and turned that to their savior. It's like, well, they'd each been taken by the Black Racer every time they've each tried to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when Starchild's the one to do it, and she ends up taking the helm of the Black Racer, so who's going to take it? Because clearly we know she's not going to have it forever. So now does just one get that? You know, like overall, did they know that would happen? Is that why they've been doing this? You know, because they seem pretty, and that's why I had to go and read it twice. And I didn't get any of that on the second read through. Is they know that she had to charge the belt, right? For, you know, it's Olgren's wrath, right? But did they not know she would turn into the Black Racer? Because when you beat the Black Racer,
it didn't seem like
race, you become it.
It didn't seem like they did, though.
Yeah.
They thought she just defeated the Black Racer, and the Black Racer says, no,
Right.
I don't die, I just become the new Black Racer, or do you become the new Black Racer? And you get that big full-page spread of her, you know, in her super Black Racer suit, and that's kind of it. And it's all about saving Superman. In the ending, we get a little epilogue that teases where Ozul is with someone who claims to be the only son of Superman still alive, and it's a very...
Pyros.
Yes, he's got like an evil-looking S shield on his chest and all that.
Yep.
And it's another.
So did you?
On you go.
I was gonna say, during Action Comics, there was that Book of L or House of L that shot into the future. I don't remember if you read it. I know Connor did because I talked to Connor about it.
I think I did. I feel like I remember doing that.
And that's where a lot of these archetypes had come from, right? You had Connell, who was like the barbarian looking Superman. You had Ronan and Rowan Kent.
Yeah.
And then you had this guy at the end of it. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't. I remember reading that. I remember learning because when Ronan and that showed up in this book, I'm like, I vaguely remember these characters. So I definitely read that one shot or that special, whatever it was.
And the whole thing with Pyros is that he is the actual last blood descendant, or like the son of Superman, and that would always had caused, like, at least for me, some weirdness, because it's like, well, no, John's around, right? So like, who is this Pyros guy? You know,
descendant. So he's someone who's descended from John as well, no?
Well, no, because he says he's the only one son of Superman still lives. So this is a kid that was born after John. That was always a thing. I
don't think that's what he means, though. I don't think he literally means that Superman's his father. I think he just means that he is the last descendant, the last like direct blood descendant of Superman. I think that's what he means. I could be wrong, but that's how I read it.
Because I remember when he showed up in the original one, that was the take on it. Because at the end of that, this old bearded Superman shows up and renders Pyro, like, leaves him crying, right? Because he finally returned and stuff. So, to see him show up, that was Future State Superman House of L #1.
I remember reading that.
Right.
God, I have to admit, though, I'm so not interested in any of this bullshit. Like, I don't care. Yep. I just do not care.
we're over halfway, and I need to know how they get back out. So I'm sticking on, right? Because I want to know how this plays out.
I mean, I'll probably read the next one. I'm losing steam, though. I hate how negative I've been this episode, but like after the first couple of books, like everything's been kind of disappointing to me in one way or another. Which is probably just making me more annoyed as I go. But like this, it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo about what the rules are lighting up this spell, and I'm like, this is all just stuff that's getting pulled out now. Like, none of this feels like it makes any kind of like sense with stuff from before, or at the very least, nothing before was memorable to make this all feel like it clicks together. So I don't know. Like, I think I've always liked this stuff in the future less than the rest of Johnson's Action Comic stuff, like always by a considerable amount, but like I feel like the more it goes, the more I'm getting frustrated at just how little I'm connecting with it. And a big part of it is all this new mythology that he just kind of keeps like throwing in there on top of it. And then the other thing being the fact that all these characters, we're not spending enough time with these characters to actually make them stick and make me remember them and make me care about them.
This was the first one that I got, and I don't want to say annoyed is the right word, but like, just because the lack of clarity and context for this thing with the Black Racer and the Philosians and all that thing, because I do like seeing the ideas that he put forward with the Warworld stuff playing out with the future, because that was our introduction to him, right? It was that future story where there was the Superman museum and the girl went there because she was inspired by Superman.
Yeah.
And there was all this sense of awe and wonder. And there's just not any sense of awe and wonder at this point. And now I feel like I'm reading Wikipedia articles more to try to remember some of the stuff.
Yeah.
As it goes.
Yeah, and that wasn't as far in the future though. Like, I mean, that part you're
No.
specifically talking about, where she goes to the Smallville like museum and hears the stories. That was like, you know, relatively near future, right? Compared to this, this is like, you know, thousands of years or whatever.
Right. Post Legion. But yeah, so real quick with Pyros, I had to look him up. And speaking of reading wiki articles, right? He is the son of Superman and the demigod Circe. So I remember being like, what the hell? And he became the Red King because he embraced both heritages, so the magic and the Kryptonian, and waged war with the House of El before being redeemed by his father. And that was in that future, was that Future State story? It was Future State. Yeah, and now he's showing back up, right? So here we are. Where does that story play out in relation to the rest of this? I don't know, but yeah, it's a lot, and I hope it rounds into shape, because I like Philip Kennedy Johnson on Superman. I think he knows how to handle the ideas, but again, that sense of awe and wonder just seemed to be gone. You know, now it just seems like he's just like info dumping on us all of his ideas, you know, that he had for like this kind of future fantasy, like sci-fi fantasy kind of take on Superman. And while these ideas are cool, it's just too much at one time. And that's where I'm getting a little bit bogged down. But again, we're halfway through. I'm invested to see where this goes. And then you bring up the bastard son of Superman and Circe, and I'm like, hold on, let me see where this goes. You know? But yeah.
Yeah. I know. I'm it was a little bit of a chore to read.
You know, it is a limited series, right? So we know
that's true.
Yeah,
I hope it swings back up. I really do. But we got 5 left.
Yep.
You know, and it's funny because, you know, the last thing Johnson just finished was the Batman and Robin running out. You know, that ended up in a really solid.
Yeah.
It was only 2 arcs basically, but it was a really solid 2 arcs of Batman and Robin, and I think this just feels like, and it's a shame because this is connected to some really good Superman stuff that he did.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
Hey, all right. What are you giving Book of El issue 7?
I'm gonna give this a 6.5.
I'm going 5. I wish it was more. I'm just annoyed. I just feel disconnected and I'm annoyed.